All right, time now for our daily focus report. Once notorious for its strict one-child policy, China now considering proposals to push women to have more babies. Beijing is worried that having one of the lowest birth rates in the world will undermine its efforts to stimulate the economy. But some women are frustrated with what they describe as government interference in their personal lives. This report from our correspondents in China, Katrina Yu and Angelique Forget.
When Angela Bao was pregnant with her 2-year-old Jackie, she assumed he would be an only child. For almost 4 decades, most families in China had been banned from having more children. But in 2016, the year Jackie was born, that changed.
It was then that they announced the 2-child policy, which we thought was great.
The 2-child policy aimed to boost China's birth rate and ensure economic growth in the face of a rapidly aging population. For Angela and her husband, it was an opportunity they couldn't miss. This year, their second son, Jerry, was born.
Our generation are all single children, and I always felt lonely. So I wanted to have 2 kids they could play with each other.
But there's a problem. Not enough Chinese women are having more children. The cost of raising a child is rising fast, and the country's birth rate has dropped, falling by 3.5% in 2017. Now Beijing is taking steps towards ending birth limits altogether. This month, the government announced it was downsizing its family planning agency. And for the first time since 1979, a new draft civil code leaves out any mention of restrictions on family size. But some say the moves have come too late. By 2050, more than 30% of China's population will be over the age of 60. If the birth rate continues falling, Liu Qingbin says the country risks running out of workers.
If you live in big cities, you don't notice the population problem, as there are still a lot of young people around. But if you go to the 2nd or 3rd tier cities, you will notice fewer young people, more elderly, and a less vigorous economic activity.
He says China's infrastructure is also poorly equipped to support larger families. Competition for quality healthcare and education is fierce. In major cities such as Shanghai, most women say having more than one child is simply out of the question.
The pressure is really high, especially in Shanghai. There's a big difference between 1 and 2.
Have you considered 2?
No, I think it's enough work to raise this one child well.
Having one is tiring enough. Schooling and living costs here are expensive. So we're under a lot of pressure.
Under pressure to provide not only for their children, but also elderly parents. For many women, working full-time is crucial, but Chinese employers often discriminate against mothers. According to a recent survey, more than 30% of women said giving birth resulted in a pay cut or demotion. One company, however, is bucking the trend. Ctrip, China's biggest online travel agency, encourages its female employees to have children by offering extensive maternity leave, transport allowances during pregnancy, and on-site facilities for pumping breast milk. It's also the first Chinese company to fund egg freezing for female executives.
Does she work?
Company chairman James Liang says Chinese companies should do what they can to support mothers, but the government must take the lead.
It's an irreversible trend that if you have fewer kids, then you have a problem 20 years from now. So the government really should step in to allocate a big chunk of the tax dollar to help support a family. And the company can do a little bit. Only big companies can do a little bit. That's not going to be nearly enough.
Beijing is currently mulling over incentives, such as tax breaks and other benefits, to encourage childbirth. Some provincial governments have set population targets, pledging to push families to procreate. But it's a controversial strategy. And according to Chen Yaya, many Chinese women are tired of what they consider government interference in their personal lives.
Without substantial benefits, propaganda and slogans alone won't help much. Some governments have gone way too far when it comes to encouraging women to have babies. It feels like they're being forced to do so.
While possible solutions are being debated, China's birth rate so far shows no sign of picking up. Baby boom or bust, more dramatic action may be needed to defuse China's demographic time bomb.